What up? What up? So, hopefully, at this point, you also have dad on board and you guys can do this together. You should have a new set of bands that I Amazon delivered to the house. You're welcome. So, first things first, I want you to pull out your yellow band. Okay, we're going to start with this guy. I like to grab it about a foot apart on the band here. And then we'll wrap once just to kind of eliminate the amount of flog around that we have with the ends. Okay, to start, I want to stand up nice and tall. Okay, pulling my shoulder blades back together. My arm's gonna stay straight the whole time. That's a big thing. Okay, from here, I'm gonna do pull aparts. So I'm gonna lock myself in through the lower half. I'm gonna drive wide out to the side and then resist back. Okay, big things again. I stay up nice and straight. My shoulder blades are pulling back together. And I'm pulling through my back, not my arms. Okay, if that makes sense. I'm not extending out through my triceps. I'm pulling wide here out to the side. Okay, we're gonna do 12 forward to side like this, staying up nice and tall. The good thing about the band too is that you can make really quick adjustments to tension. So if it feels like it's too tight or you can't get all the way back in line with the plane of your body, you can just loosen up your grip a little bit on the band. Okay, we've got 12 total forward to side. I imagine this is about 7, we'll say 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Cool. Go ahead and relax for a sec. And then we're going to do a second set that's going to be overhead to side. I don't really like the way that I'm crunched here, so I'm going to rotate myself a little bit. I'm still learning how to do the big camera work. Cool. So second set, we're now going to go overhead to side. I want you to take the same approach as far as gripping the band, except for this time you may want to be just a little bit looser. It's a little bit more tricky. Okay, so I'm going to now start up overhead and I'm going to drive out wide to the side here. Okay, so the band stays nice and tight to my torso the whole time. I'm all the way up overhead. I get a big stretch out to the side. That's 2. We're going to do 12. Okay, big spread here. Resist on the way back up. Big spread. Big things, okay? Arms again stay straight. I'm pulling tight to the torso and I'm always resisting on the way up, okay? Never want to be a victim to the band as far as letting it just flog me around. I want to squeeze tight, okay? That's my concentric phase, that's my contraction. And then on the lengthening or the resisting phase, I want to fight that pull of the band. Okay, we'll call this 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, and 12. Cool. So on these guys too, since we're now working with a new set of bands, if you and dad are both doing it together, you guys can just, one person maybe start a little bit in front of the other and then you guys can rotate through the exercises. Have one person doing a different exercise while the other person is using the band. That's fine too. So those are our first 2 down. The next one we're gonna do is a split stance dumbbell RDL. So last program, you guys had a normal RDL, a normal dumbbell RDL where the legs were square with each other. We're going to just make a little bit of a progression from there. Okay, so this one's going to go to a unilateral exercise, which challenges our balance and our stability and our core just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to have a dumbbell again in each hand. Okay, so if you remember for our normal RDL, we are about hip width apart. Dumbbells stay tight to our shins, and we got a nice hinge on down. We squeezed up through the glutes and hamstrings. On our split stance, it's kind of like the lunge of an RDL version, okay? So I'm gonna have 1 foot forward. The back foot is gonna just be planted up on my toe, okay? From here, everything proceeds exactly the same. I wanna stay tight through my torso. I want my shoulder blades to pull back. I want the dumbbells to slide right along my shin and then squeeze all the way tall to the top. Okay, I'm pressing back and I'm squeezing back up tall. We're gonna do 10 on each side. Get that nice long stretch through that hamstring and glute. And then squeeze on up to the top. Okay, so on this one, I would say about 85% of our weight we want that front leg. And the back one is just for the sake of stability and balance. call that 10 on that left leg, and then we'll switch on over to the right. So I'll give you a front angle this time. Okay, again, I'm loading heavy through this front leg. I'm gonna prop the back one as a kickstand. The dumbbells will stay tight to the front of my torso. My head stays tucked down just like I did for the normal RDL. And then I hinge myself forward and I squeeze on through top. Okay, push that hip back, 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 and squeeze through. 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 more. 7, again the hip is pushing back. I'll give you another view. 8, 9, and last one, hip goes back, squeeze on, tighten through. Good, good. So again, it's just like that RDL that we did the first time, except for it's on loaded heavier on one leg. I like to think about like 85% of my weight through the front leg. The back one is just acting for stability and balance. So after that one, we're gonna go into alternating reverse lunges. So I want a dumbbell in each hand again. Dad can load heavier than mom. Mom, I'd probably do 10s or 15s in each hand. Dad, you can probably do like 15s or 20s, 25s as you go. So dumbbell in each hand, it's gonna hang long down to the side. Feet are going to start together up at the top. Okay, from here, I'm gonna take one leg, I'm gonna step back into a nice lunge, and then I'm gonna come back up together. Now the opposite leg is gonna go back, okay, and back up together. So side angle here. I want a nice long stretch backwards so that you can really sit through the hip of that front leg. Okay, we're doing 16 total, so we count every other on each leg. My chest stays up. My weight is heavy through the heel of the front leg. Okay, I want to make sure that I come down to a 90-degree angle. My back knee shouldn't slam the ground.
Why did you wear these shoes? You should have taken comfortable ones. I was like, this is what I wore 2 years ago, or 3 years ago.
And my front foot should ideally stay back behind my front toe. Okay, so I'm really sitting heavy through this hip here and not drifting forward over the knee. So it's just protective of our joints. We want to load through the muscles of our hip and our quad, not the knee joint itself. Okay, so we're looking for 16 total. Let's say 4 more total. Long stretch, staying tall, dumbbells just hang along. Try not to hold any tension up through my arms. And relax on down. Last one in this circuit, we're gonna do a resistance band payloft press. So we can do these with a cable, we can do it with a band since you guys don't have cables. I want you to bust out your new red band. Okay, it's kind of this maybe a 1/2 inch thick. And I want you to hook it up from a stable object. So maybe the side of the squat rack is a good idea, one of the uprights, just so that it's locked stable and in place. Okay, so wrap it around once and then loop it back through itself like this, just so it's secure. And then from there, we are gonna bump ourselves out perpendicular from the band. I like to interlock my fingers like this. Sorry, it's hard to get tension and camera angle correct at the same time. So I'm perpendicular from the band, okay? There's tension in it, it's nice and tight. I'm going to keep my feet right under my hips, okay? They're about hip width apart. I'm gonna stand nice and tall, interlock these fingers, and I have just a soft kind of bend through my knees. I'm not super erect like this, just kind of soft, just so I can stay stable and locked in place. From here, my fingers are interlocked, I'm tight on the band. I'm just gonna shoot it straight out, and then it's gonna come right back towards my chest. Okay, so I shoot straight out and it comes back towards my chest. You'll notice, okay, as you extend your arms and you try to shoot out, the band, the tension of the band is gonna try to pull you to the right. So you need to use your core, lock yourself in, lock tight through the hips to resist this pull of the band. Okay, so it shoots straight out. That was 3, we're gonna do 10 total. We got 4. And you want to hold for just a brief little second on the outside position. Okay, really maximize the time under that tight tension out here. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Last one. Good. So I'm gonna next give you kind of a lateral view, just so that you can see my torso, right? So I don't wanna be overextended here. I wanna just be soft, and it's kind of like a standing plank in a sense, okay? I'm really keeping tension up through the front, hello, the front of my body. So now we will reverse and do the other side. Same exact concept. Band is interlocked at my fingers, here like this. Okay, I'm bumped out far enough that there's some tension in the band. I'm tall, but I'm also kind of keeping the contraction through the front half, okay? From here, I'm gonna shoot straight out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should be getting some good tension, 1 through your chest, okay? Through your arm, the inner arm, and then lots through your core as you resist that pull sideways. Okay, 10 on each side. Say 2 more. Good, and relax on down. All right, so that is round 1. It's a pretty good one. We're making some advancements from last time, I think. So that's gonna be round 1. I want you to go back through twice on your own. Pause it here if you want, and then, or rewind it so you can see it again if you need more help. And then we will start on the second round right now. So the second round, we're starting with what I call natural leg extensions. So these are kind of goofy, but they're a great substitute for like a machine leg extension if you're at home, or even if you do have a machine leg extension. I like the fact that you get a lot more core involved going on, okay? So we're gonna basically get ourselves into a downward dog position, which if you've done yoga before, we're kind of like an inverted triangle, like so, okay? From here, I really want to press my chest down, back through my shoulders, okay? So I'm nice and flat. I'm getting a good stretch through my shoulders. My hips are high in the air. I want to try to stay up on my toes, okay? Because that's going to keep tension through the fronts of my legs. So from here, it's hard to talk upside down. I'm trying to explain everything I can right now. So once I get in that downward dog position, I'm going to, again, stay up on my toes, let my knees sink down towards the mat. They can hover, they don't need to hit. But then I'm gonna push them back hard and really think about squeezing through my quads, okay? So I'm extending my knee by squeezing my quad. So if I'm down here like this, I'm pushing back, I'm getting a good shoulder stretch. My knees sink down towards the mat, I stay up on my toes, and I squeeze back, thinking about clenching the fronts of my legs, okay? Again, I dip, I squeeze, I'm gonna do 12, okay? That's 2, 3, 4, driving the hips high, squeezing the fronts of the legs, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 more, 10, 11, last one, 12, good. So those hips, again, press high up into the air, the fronts of the legs squeeze. Next 2, we're going to do 2 different mountain climber varieties, okay? These guys are not for speed. Sometimes you think about mountain climbers being used for speed. These are for core contraction, okay, control. So we're gonna get ourselves up into the top of a plank, a high plank. We're gonna be from our hands. The first set of these are gonna be oblique mountain climbers, okay? We're gonna drive the knee wide out to the same elbow, okay? We're alternating. So I'm gonna be down in my plank. Make sure you can see all of me, like this, okay? From here, I'm gonna drive my knee wide out to my elbow. It's gonna pause briefly at the outside and then go back. Okay, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then relax for a second. okay? When you're doing these, you want your hips to stay level, and it's just the knee that's driving out, okay? You should get a contraction through the side of your core over here. Trying not to shift too much, all weeble wobbly, okay? All of this stays locked, it's just that knee that's driving out. Try to touch your elbow if you can, hold for that brief little second. Then, second round is gonna be rotational. We're now gonna take the knee to the opposite elbow. So you're still gonna start in the same exact planked position. So if I'm here up in my plank, my belt buckle is tucked. We definitely talked about that in the first circuit, okay? Belt buckle is tucked. I'm now driving knee to opposite elbow. Again, pausing briefly up at that top. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then relax. So again, I want my hands stacked right on my shoulders. I want all of this tight. Pull up and across, and breathe, squeeze for just 1 second. Okay, last one of the day. These are called swimmers. It's a great shoulder mobility exercise. Also gonna get some good work through your back. They're good for posture, which all of us can use after we constantly hunch over our screens. So watch closely what's gonna happen. I do want you to fully relax your forehead down on the mat, okay? So if you need like a little towel or something, go right ahead, but I don't want tension up through the back of your neck. So you're gonna be fully flat down on the mat, and that includes your feet, okay? You don't have to lift your feet or hover them in any way. You're gonna be all the way down on the mat, okay? Here, my palms are facing downward overhead. So as they're facing downward overhead, I'm gonna take lift off here. Okay, I'm gonna stretch all the way out around. As I get to the back, notice my palms rotate upward. I'm gonna get a little extra lift, a little extra separation from the floor, okay? I'm going to then come back to the front. At the top, again, when my palms are facing downward, I'm gonna get another little lift, okay? So I wanna ideally be creating as much separation between the floor and my palms, as well as my hands and my shoulders all at once, okay? So I'm not bent, I'm reaching out, but I'm also reaching up. Okay, so watch me do this in full time. My head is relaxed, down, I'm gonna lift, I'm gonna spread, and wrap. I'm gonna pulse, and come back to the top and pulse, okay? Each down and back counts as 1, and we've got 10. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, I just realized I messed up my counting. Sorry, it's been a long day. Down and back is 1, so we probably have about 5 more. All right, and relax down. So, hopefully you can still see me. My low battery thing popped up. Sorry, discombobulated. Good thing you guys are my parents and you love me regardless. So down and back counts as 1, creating that big stretch. You should get some tension through the backs of your shoulders. You should feel it maybe in between your shoulder blades even. Lots of good posture there, okay? So again, these guys, you guys are gonna go back through. You should have the sheet to reference as far as rep number and set numbers, but I think that's all I had to cover on this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a good workout, and catch me on the next.